Can Hearts get back to winning ways? Can Celtic and Rangers overcome in-form opposition? And who is going to come out on top in a whopper at the bottom end of the table? I'm Charlotte Cohen, and alongside Cillian, Sheridan and Joelle Murray, we'll guide you through the Premiership weekend. Hello and welcome to the Scottish Football Podcast. All the news, views and analysis you need on Friday the 10th of April. And it's the weekend preview.
Good position here for Livingston. Newbley, big chance. Comes to Smith. It's an equaliser. Wow, Livingston have pegged Hearts back. Brilliant, a Livingston break there.
Can Hearts get over the disappointment of last Sunday as they host Motherwell? Rangers return to Falkirk hoping for better than their last visit.
It was Falkirk 1, Rangers 1. More disappointment for Rangers, and the camera was very determined in terms of focusing in on the power brokers at Rangers as they stood grim-faced.
While Celtic are in action against an improving St Mirren side, and Kilmarnock and Dundee do battle in what could be a massive match.
We'll bounce back after the Falkirk defeat and we'll look to do that again after this one. At Rugby Park we've been strong and we'll look to try and be that again next week.
To win games you need to be brave, and I think just now they're showing a lot of bravery in the way they play.
We've got everything you need to know about this weekend.
The Scottish Football Podcast from BBC Sports Scotland.
And alongside me to talk all of that, Cillian Sheridan, striker with 16 clubs. Morning, Cillian. Which of these games are you most excited for this weekend?
Morning, Charlotte. I kind of feel like every weekend because there's three teams involved, each game of those is probably the one you're looking at. Potentially the biggest one, or the most difficult one, I would say, is the Rangers and Hearts fixtures. They're probably the ones where you're looking at thinking a slip-up could happen for either of them. Celtic at home to St Mirren, you would be expecting them to win that one. So it'll be a big... Again, every weekend as we go on right now, is proving kind of pivotal and turning points. So it's kind of just looking forward to see what the three of them have for us this weekend.
Yeah, it does feel like there's never an easy game at the moment, is there? So anyway, alongside us, Joelle Murray, Hibs legend. Morning, Joelle. What game are you most looking forward to this weekend?
Good morning, Charlotte. I think the one for me is the Hearts Motherwell game. I think lots at stake for both teams. So yeah, I think that'll be the most interesting one this weekend.
Yeah, well, let's start with that game then, because after dropping points against Livy, Cillian, Hearts can't really afford any more slip-ups. I mean, is there a worry now that they're maybe just running out of steam, or is this just a blip, do you think?
I think they'll definitely be disappointed from the Livingston game. I think they initially responded well after going a goal down, and probably it always looks like it was a matter of time before they were going to get an equaliser and then go on and win the game. They didn't. And then I think because Celtic winning then after them, the whole fixture, it's not even controversy, but the whole fixture stuff happens, and then kind of all the pressure ramps up again. I think having a little bit more of a cushion would have probably helped Hearts in that regard. But yeah, I think they'll definitely be looking to bounce back. And I think it's big for Hearts to get a good, fast start over these next 2 or 3 games, and to kind of keep that little cushion that they have. They don't want to really... The last thing I think they'd want to do is get dragged into a thing where it's just... They bring Celtic back into it. Rangers are in it with them already. So I think, as we've seen all season... and then obviously with the less games that we have with every match day gone by, that cushion will disappear for Hearts. So I think it's just ramping up for them, and it's something new for them, for the players, for the manager, for the club at the minute. So I would imagine it's all very exciting there.
Yeah, we had a Hearts fan, Liam, on Wednesday's podcast, who was very despondent and was kind of saying it's not going to be the split that's going to have an impact. on where the title goes. Well, obviously it will, but it's going to be these games like at the weekend where they can't do the job on the team bottom of the table. So it's interesting. You can actually listen to that podcast on BBC Sounds, and you can watch it on YouTube if that's your cup of tea. But they're playing Motherwell, Joelle. Motherwell, I don't know, they've been doing so well. We've spoken so many times on this podcast about Motherwell and the way they play and how good they've been. But I think winless in the last 4, have lost 3 of those. I was watching the game against Falkirk. They didn't look particularly great. What do you think's going on there? Do you think it is just the case of they've been doing so well and they're just running out of steam a little bit?
Yeah, maybe. I think there's, because of the way that Motherwell have started the season, or had started the season, there's now that expectation there. And I think naturally they're having a little bit of a dip. I think they've lost 3 of their last 4 league games, which as many as their first 28 of the season, I believe. So that in itself is quite astounding. However, when you look at other stats, Motherwell are the only remaining team in the Premiership that Hearts are yet to beat. So I think it's lined up to be a great game, albeit the form from both teams going into it hasn't been their best form of the season. And I think for me, Motherwell are a really, really exciting team, a really impressive team. And certainly Hearts have been grinding out these 1-0ers, especially at home. So I think there's no doubt from a Hearts perspective, the quality is there on the pitch. Now at this point in the season, it's a test of character, a test of their resilience to see if they can keep up the good work that they've done and get across the line.
Cillian, you touched on Celtic kind of being on the fringes of the title race, obviously. They finally banished their Dundee hoodoo on Sunday, finally getting their win there this season, but they still look a wee bit fragile. They are obviously at home to St Mirren. Do you think there's enough quality in there to get the job done and get another 3 points?
Yeah, I think the game against Dundee, they probably should have won us more comfortable than what they did. A lot of chances went by. I think if Iheanacho can be fit and stay in the team, I think he could be a big difference. He seems to be the one that will take chances and convert them, and just looks a little bit calmer in front of goal. Seems to play with more confidence, and I just feel like that's going to be quite crucial between now and the end of the season. Not just for Celtic, I think for Hearts and Rangers as well. But I think given everything that's happened in the last week, it feels like a little bit of momentum has shifted more towards Celtic. And like we're saying, they're on the fringes. They're only 3 points behind. You'd never, any other season, if Celtic are 3 points behind, you're thinking they're well and truly in it. Where it's probably just the form and the way this season has gone, you kind of feel like they're way out, or they're way out of the fringes. But I mean, yeah, it can all change in one weekend as we've seen so far.
Yeah, I mean, they've got Joelle in the split 3 home games. They've got that home game before then as well. How important is that going to be for Celtic, having that many home games and the last day of the season against Hearts potentially title deciding being at Parkhead as well?
Yeah, I do think it is important, and it will play a part in it, I believe. But at the end of the day, I think certainly Derek McInnes came out in the week and said he'd play anywhere. I think you need to try and remove that aspect, home or away. At the end of the day, you need to control what you can control, and as soon as the players go on the pitch, they need to be in a position to perform, regardless of if it's at your home stadium or not. So yeah, it certainly will give them a slight advantage, I believe. Obviously, the decision to bring the Green Brigade back as well. I think that there's a hope there that will give them that added kind of motivation, enthusiasm, and added noise, added edge at Celtic Park. But I think for any of the other clubs in it, Rangers, Hearts, I think both 2 and 3 home away, I think they just need to control what they can control and don't get too caught up in all of the narrative that we've seen since the fixtures were announced.
The other game in the top three this weekend, Falkirk against Rangers on Sunday. Cillian, Rangers haven't been able to beat Falkirk so far this season. Again, we've touched on this podcast how well Falkirk have done this season, secured top six, first season back in the Premiership. But it feels like Rangers are kind of have a bit of momentum at the moment and are getting the job done even in difficult situations.
Yeah, I don't think... I've never worked under John McGlynn, but from what I hear, I don't think he's the type of manager that will kind of sit back now and think, right, that's job done. We've got top six. So I don't think their season is over by any means. So the pressure will definitely be on Rangers, and I think it's games like this where I feel like Rangers will go and build up momentum and go on good winning streaks and get themselves back into it, and then kind of have faltered at these kind of games. So I think it's a big test for them. They've got, I think, potentially one or two injury blows maybe between now and the end of the season that could harm them. But I think, like I said, I feel like their biggest challenge has been capitalising on the momentum that they build. And again, Falkirk Sunday morning, and the fact that they're playing after the Hearts and Celtic both play, they could find themselves back in third position again. So it's just another fixture where the pressure is ramped up on each one.
Absolutely. Well, your weekend listening starts with the Saturday show at 9 o'clock on BBC Radio Scotland, where Stephen and Amy are joined by Caroline Weir, followed by Off the Ball at 12, and Sports Sound starts at 2 o'clock. And then on Sunday, Sports Sound is on air at 11:30, followed by Off the Ball at 3 o'clock. Well, at the other end of the table, massive match at Rugby Park. Joelle, a win could bring Killie level on points with Aberdeen and St Mirren. That must be a massive psychological aspect, isn't it? I mean, if you go into a game knowing if we win, we can potentially pull these two teams above us down and close the gap to them.
Yeah, it's a massive incentive. Again, I'm big on controlling the controllables. Deal with yourself, your individual performance and your collective performance first, and then look elsewhere. And certainly Kilmarnock are a team that are doing that and have done that since Neil McCann came in. I think winning 4 of their last 5 home league games, so they're making Rugby Park a fortress now, making it a difficult place to go. And I think at the back end of the pitch, they're not conceding as much as they have been. So it'll be a very, very interesting game. And like you said, 3 points for Kilmarnock will put them right back and on the coattails of the teams above them. But it won't be an easy game. Dundee turning things around under Stephen Pressley, kind of picking up form at the most important point of the season. So that one will certainly be an interesting one, with the winners taking a lot more than the 3 points from the game indeed.
Yeah, that's the thing, Cillian. I mean, a win for Dundee kind of moves them nicely further away from that danger zone.
Yeah, definitely. It'll gives them a little, not so much of a safety net, but it does give them something to sit on. I think it's probably more for Kilmarnock. If Kilmarnock can go and win, get 3 points, it drags Dundee really into it. If Aberdeen struggle to get a result, then I feel like Dundee are well and truly in a fight with all those teams. And it sets up a great fixture for going into their post-split fixtures. I know all the chat has been about the top 6, but it's the way it's kind of worked out. It's set up for a real good build up into that for the bottom 6, which usually gets overshadowed by the top 6 fixtures. So I'm just looking forward to see how all that plays out. As I don't think we really would have anticipated so many teams competing for that 11th place.
Aberdeen, one of them as well, which seems mind-boggling. But they're at home to Hibs, Joelle. Hibs, we were having this conversation yesterday. Hibs have actually had a very, very good season that has kind of gone under the radar given how well Motherwell have been doing, how well Edinburgh rivals Hearts have been doing. Unbeaten in 6, in pretty good form, putting in decent performances. It's just going to be a tricky game for Aberdeen, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be difficult. And you're right. I think David Gray spoke in a press conference the other week about at this point in the season compared to last season, the total points is more this season than last. But because everybody else is doing so well, and when I say everybody else, I mean Hearts, it kind of overshadows what Hibs are doing and have done this season. But you're right. There's lots of positives to take from the season. They've kept a clean sheet in each of their last 3 league games, so it will certainly be a difficult game for Aberdeen because that new manager bounce that you often see has been non-existent there since Stephen Robinson's went in. So it'll be an interesting one. So yeah, another one that there'll be a good few eyes on.
I wonder, Cillian, from a player point of view, I mean, how does Stephen Robinson lift almost the gloom around the club of, we're in serious trouble here? What can he do as a manager to almost gee the players up for what's going to be a battle in the last 6 games?
I'm not sure. I mean, he's come out, he's tried to kind of come out and give them their home truths, and he's been pretty brutally honest with them publicly after games. And he probably felt like, usually that's kind of like the last resort for managers, so he probably felt like he's tried what he could and let's try something else. I think the problem is they've signed players that were never signed for relegation battles, for games like this, for situations like this. It's probably something that he's been a bit more used to previously, not so much in the last 2 or 3 seasons, but so it's probably hard for him to get across what he wants to players that are coming in. They were coming in and looking forward to playing European games this season, which is, they're far from that now. And then you throw in on top of that just the form, the confidence, everything is just, it just seems as if everything that's going wrong for them is going wrong. And it's just, it doesn't look like a nice team to be playing in. It's just, there's just a lot of doom and gloom. You're never really, when you see the games they have and then the results come in and they're losing to teams around about them, you're not really surprised because you think, the other teams are probably, there's more fight in them. They look more up for this kind of relegation fight. I think they've probably been thinking of, we'll just coast out the rest of the season. We're not really in that fight until they are now fully in it.
Yeah, I mean, they've lost the same number of games as Livingston, which seems quite incredible. But Livingston, Joelle, could be, after this weekend, 14 points adrift with 15 still to play for. Do you think, I don't know, I mean, Marvin Bartley is very it's not over till it's over, still wants to see good attitude from his players, but it kind of feels like maybe it is going to be incredibly difficult for them to get back in the fight of even finishing in 11th.
Obviously, Marvin can't come out and say anything different. He's not that type of person. He never played the game any other way than wanting to win. So I think that message is correct. It's facts. It's not over till it's over, but it's incredibly difficult for them. Away to Dundee United, who a team picking up a little bit of form. Jim Goodwin awarded Manager of the Month for March. I think it'll be incredibly difficult for Livingston. And although the facts suggest it's not over, as I say, without saying it, it's going to be quite the task for Marvin Bartley and Livingston to get out of the predicament that they find themselves in at the moment.
Let's finally turn to Scotland. A final friendly has been added to the World Cup preparations. Cillian, I'm wondering what you think Steve Clarke will want most from the game against Bolivia, given that it's right before the World Cup starts. Do you think it's about result? Do you think it's about performance? Or do you think it's mainly about just getting used to the conditions and playing in the States?
I think injuries is probably his main concern. Just hopeful that every player that plays gets through it pretty much unscathed. I think given like his style of play, we've seen over the last few years that he does stick with the same players, the same system. That's not really going to change. So I don't think he needs games to try and like implement a style of play on players. So I think from his point of view, it's probably just that players get through it without picking up injuries.
And one of the other things coming out about sort of related to Scotland, Andy Robertson leaving Liverpool at the end of the season. I'm wondering, Joelle, I mean, he's out of contract at the end of the season, so potentially looking for a new club come the summer. He's not going to do himself any harm in that respect by going to the World Cup with Scotland and having an excellent tournament. So I suppose from that point of view, it's probably a good thing for Scotland, because you've got a player who will not only be desperate to succeed with Scotland, but is also maybe trying to put himself in the shop window for the summer.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know if Andy Robertson needs to put himself in the shop window. I think he's proven the quality that he has throughout his career, been very successful at Liverpool. So I'd imagine that's come out now because he wanted it confirmed, so that he can fully focus on the World Cup in the summer. And also it gives clubs an opportunity to know that's a decision that's been made, and give clubs an opportunity and time to obviously maybe put a package together or something like that. But I certainly don't think it's to put himself in the shop window. I would imagine it's to ensure that he goes into the World Cup in the summer with a clear head and that clarity on, this is my full focus. When I come back, this is my focus, whether it be sorted out behind the scenes or not. So I'd imagine that is the reason and the rationale behind the timing of that announcement.
Sounded like you were at the airport there when that just came over.
I wish I was at the airport.
Getting on a plane, she's at Hibs. Well, domestically, Cillian, your league comes to an end this weekend. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Brecon need to better Brora's result. If you both win, you need to win by 4 more goals. Is that right?
I think it potentially could be 5. I think if it's 4, it will match it.
Right.
And they have the better goals scored. I think I didn't think I'd ever know so much about goal permutations for winning leagues. So we need to better their result by I think it's 5 goals. So we'll do what we can and try, but it's it would be another cruel way to end the season after doing the same last season.
You'll be having your scoring boots on though, I imagine.
Hopefully, yeah. They'll be needed.
And Joelle, the SWPL title race continues to be dramatic as ever this season. Just obviously the top half have been playing twice a week now for the last few weeks. How intense has it been being in the middle of all of this?
Yeah, it's been really intense, but from a player's perspective, that's what they want, that's what they love. Playing games, recovering, playing games. I don't know if I loved it at the latter stages of my career because I was absolutely shattered. But they absolutely love it, and these are the games that you want to play, the competitive games, the ones at the top of the table. And you can see from the table, like the SPFL, it's extremely tight. Hearts 52, Rangers 51, Glasgow City 50, 46-43. It can turn, it can flip in a heartbeat. So another extremely exciting SWPL, and looking like another extremely close and exciting end to the season that could potentially go down to the last day again.
Yeah, it's what we love. It's what we love about the SWPL. But Joelle, here's a scenario for you to think about. You might not want to think about it, but if Hearts were to win both men's and women's titles, would you be forced to emigrate? Flee? Maybe just for the summer. Maybe just till it all dies down.
I mean, you'd have to give them
game.
credit. You'd have to give them credit. Pat them on the back. It's good for the game. Yeah, good for the game. I think actually someone mentioned the other day, if Hearts win the SWPL, that'll be 5 different league winners in the last 5 seasons. So there's a stat for you.
There you go. Oh well, you can just hide away until all the chatter dies down and then emerge for the new season. Right, we will end on our rapid fire prediction questions. Usual 1-word answer, or as few words as possible from you both. I'll come to you, Joelle, first. Which tie this weekend do you think is going to be the coupon buster?
The coupon buster. I am going Dundee United, Livingston.
Cillian?
Ooh, I think I will go. I don't know if it's really a coupon buster. I think probably the trickiest one for someone to slip up would be probably Rangers at Falkirk.
Joelle, where is it going to kick off this weekend?
I think Tynecastle, Hearts, Motherwell.
Cillian?
Kilmarnock, Dundee.
Right, Joelle, which team is going to be top of the league on Sunday night?
Rangers.
Cillian?
I'm going to go Celtic.
I was hoping you were going to say that.
Yeah.
Piling on the drama. Right, Joelle, which team will be favourites for the playoff come Sunday night?
I think St Mirren.
Cillian?
Ooh, Aberdeen.
I'm liking the thought you guys are putting into this. This is good. And finally, Joelle, who is going to be making the headlines this weekend?
I think Derek McInnes.
Cillian?
Ooh, headlines. Hopefully not referees, but probably. Headlines. Who's going to be? I know you said quick fire.
It's been anything but Cillian, eh?
I know. Referees.
Okay. I'm going to answer that question and say Cillian Sheridan when he scores 6 goals for Brecon.
Yeah.
That's. I couldn't say it myself. That's exactly what I was thinking. I couldn't say it myself.
Well, that is all we've got time for. Many thanks to Joelle and Cillian, and thank you for listening. Remember, we are here with new episodes of the Scottish Football Podcast bright and early every day, so make sure you don't miss out. Subscribe on BBC Sounds and have push notifications turned on in your phone. Enjoy your weekend, and we will catch you again very soon.
For everything you need to know about your team this season, download the BBC Sport app. All the latest news, goal updates, stats and scores, and insight and analysis. Just select your club to get the biggest stories and best content at your fingertips. What a result. Download the BBC Sport app for everything you need to know about your team this season.